Hey everybody, welcome back. I want to share a couple of passages here from a book that I've been reading called This Here Flesh by Cole author Riley. This book is really changing me in some pretty profound ways. And there's a couple of passages here where she is speaking to a bigger issue of hearing from God or having conversations with a spiritual being, but also getting to know oneself. And I think that I know that getting to know oneself is a critical piece of understanding why we make art and where our art is coming from. And so I'm going to share these passages with you and ask you to think about them in the context of your own lives. So these are her words. So my first prayer was into a purple plastic toy megaphone. I even went into the closet to do it in case God was shy like me. At the time, I received no perceptible reply. It has taken time for me to understand that what I'm craving has perhaps been provided in other ways. I love this. She's like talking about Winx. I've never heard God tell me to pick up a pen and write, but my Father pressed my cheeks between his palms, pinching one of my poems in between his forefinger and a cigarillo, and whispered, "Don't forget this. You're going to write like you read." And maybe it was God who knew that one night I would find that navy hardcover book with the silver foil lettering underneath our coffee table. And maybe he knew I would peel open its cover and find my grandma's words on the first page. One of her poems in an anthology. I held that book like it was a sacred text. It did not feel like the world stopped spinning. I did not hear anything or feel like something was being communicated to me. But now when I retell that memory, I imagine something akin to the scene in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, when Harry chooses her wand, or rather, it chooses him. Some callings come to you only in memory. Some come only on the mouth of someone you trust. Some don't even need to be heard in order to be lived. And not all calls come from outside of you. So after reading this in relationship to her trying to pray, my brain made so many different connections. And for a while I've been thinking like my own painting process is my own sense, my own prayer, that, my studio is a chapel or a shrine where I go and commune with the energies about the things in my life that are the most deeply valued or appreciated. And I feel like this is a nod, this is a wink telling me that the things that I'm listening to are the things I'm hearing are the things that I should be listening for. And that the practices that I've been cultivating in my art are important. They are valuable beyond the scope of making an image, but of allowing me to connect with a spiritual health. And I challenge you to listen to her context, or to place yourself in the context of her sentences here about how callings choose us. Some callings come to you only in memory. Some come only on the mouth of someone you trust. Some don't need to be heard in order to be lived. And not all calls come from outside you. So whether you're speaking to prayer or choice of subject matter or any other decision that you have to make in your life, I feel like this is beautiful, brilliant advice. And I'm going to move to the next passage here, which I want to relate to our own concept, the own piece of the creative sweet spot, which is knowing yourself. And knowing yourself intimately and honestly and truthfully. And I feel like this passage here speaks to that. Our questions of calling tend to be more aspirational than introspective. We spend a jarring amount of time asking young people what jobs they might have one day, compared to how often we ask them what is true of them right now. Both questions are worth asking, but I do wonder what I would have found true about myself earlier had someone asked. The question of calling is not primarily a question of what we might become, but a question of what is already true, not least of which is what is true about the self. Ask me what I want to be, but not before you ask me who I want to be. Ask me who I want to be, but not before you ask me the more searing question of who I am. Many of us will go to great lengths trying to answer this question without awareness of it. From horoscopes and the Enneagram to the social archetypes of the high school cafeteria, we are desperate for ways to make sense of who we are in relation to the world. It's troubling that the answer would not be immediately clear to us, but there are parts of us we've managed to hide even from ourselves. So the next time you sit down with your morning pages, I want you to think about her questions. Start with who you are, and then step to who you want to be. Who you are, then who do you want to be, and then what do you want to be? And I believe that spending some time with each of those questions and reflections will help you choose things in your creative path that will honor and guide you to those end goals. So again, this is from This Here Flesh by Cole Arthur Riley. Thanks for letting me share that with you. All right, have a great day, everybody. I'm going back to the easel.